Hi. Hi guys, welcome to my YouTube channel. Today I'm going to discuss hydrogen chapter, which is a requirement for class 11th CBSE boards. So let us quickly proceed with hydrogen and its compounds. To begin with, hydrogen has atomic number 1, mass number 1. It has 1 proton, 1 electron and no neutrons. In Greek, hydro means water and genes means basically gen means former. So hydrogen is an element which could synthesize water. So hydrogen was first prepared by Henry Cavendish in 1766 by the reaction of sulfuric acid with iron. He named it inflammable air. This is about history of hydrogen, and the name hydrogen was given by Lavoisier because it produces water. Water producer hydrogen. Some interesting facts about hydrogen. This is the only element in the periodic table which does not contain neutrons. It has 1 proton, 1 electron. In elemental form, it exists as a diatomic molecule and is called as dihydrogen. It exists as H2. In volcanic gases, hydrogen exists in free form. So let us discuss the position of hydrogen in periodic table. The position of hydrogen in periodic table was contradictory. So it is the first element in the periodic table and has been placed at the top of the periodic table because of uncertainty associated with its position. It resembles both alkali metals, that is group 1A elements, and halogens, that is group 7A elements. Some similarity with alkali metals. Now, to begin with, what are alkali metals? Alkali metals are the elements which give basic solution on dissolution in water and liberate hydrogen gas on reaction with acids. For example, when sodium reacts with water, it dissolves in water to form sodium hydroxide and liberates hydrogen gas. Similarly, sodium with sulfuric acid forms sulfate and liberates hydrogen gas. Like alkali metals, hydrogen also contains 1 valence electron, that is 1 electron in its outermost shell. Alkali metals contain 1 valence electron, that is the configuration of alkali metals in general is S1. Similarly, hydrogen is also S1. Hydrogen is 1s1, alkali metals is NS1, that is for lithium it is 2s1, for sodium it is 3s1, and so on. Electropositive character, like alkali metals, hydrogen also has a tendency to lose its only electron to form unipositive ions, that is cations, and thus shows monoelectrovalency or monocovalency. So H has a tendency to lose 1 electron to form H+. Alkali metals have a tendency to lose 1 electron to form a monovalent cation. So hydrogen resembles alkali metals in its tendency to lose its valence electron to form monovalent cations or unipositive cations. Oxidation state of hydrogen is +1 in most of its compounds like alkali metals. Like alkali metals, hydrogen combines with electronegative elements, non-metals such as oxygen and halogens, and sulfur, forming their oxides, halides, and sulfides respectively. For example, hydrogen forms the oxide H2O. Alkali metals form similar oxides Na2K2O. Although the nature of these oxides is different, hydrogen forms a neutral oxide, whereas alkali metals form basic oxides. Hydrogen forms a covalently bonded hydrogen chloride, whereas alkali metals form ionic sodium chloride and potassium chloride. So the similarity is that hydrogen combines with halogens the way alkali metals do. The difference is The nature of this bond is covalent with hydrogen. HCl is covalent, whereas alkali metals form ionic halides. Sulfides. Hydrogen forms hydrogen sulfide and alkali metals form sodium sulfide, potassium sulfide. Again, the same similarity is in a combination with the same element, but the difference is H2S is covalent, whereas sodium sulfide is ionic. The next property is reducing character. Like alkali metals, hydrogen also acts as a strong reducing agent. All alkali metals have a large size, low ionization energy, can lose electrons easily, act as strong reducing agents. They themselves can undergo oxidation easily, so they act as very good reducing agents. So like alkali metals, hydrogen also acts as a strong reducing agent. Fe3O4 plus hydrogen gives iron and water. Here hydrogen is reducing ferric Fe3 to iron. This is ferroferric ions to iron metal. Similarly, potassium also is a very good reducing agent. In this reaction, potassium is reducing boron oxide to boron. So here we have a similarity between hydrogen and alkali metals in terms of reducing character. So position of hydrogen in the periodic table. Now let us discuss similarities with halogens. What are halogens? Halogen means salt producing elements. Halo means salt, gen means generation, salt producing elements. These belong to group 17 or group 7A of the periodic table. Hydrogen is a non-metal like halogens. It forms diatomic molecule. This is the first similarity between hydrogen and halogens. Both form diatomic elements. Hydrogen has a tendency to gain one electron to complete its duplet and forms uni-negative ions like halogens. Halogens also have a tendency to gain one electron to complete their octet. So the similarity is both have a tendency to gain one electron, but the difference is hydrogen wants to complete its duplet, but halogens want to complete their octet. As a result, both have oxidation state -1. The ionization energy of hydrogen is 1312 kilojoule per mole, which is nearer to halogens. Now, just to give you an idea, alkali metals roughly have an ionization energy of around approximately some 200 to 500, 600 range, roughly, right? So the ionization energy of alkali metals is much lower than hydrogen. The ionization energy of hydrogen is closer to halogens. So the ionization energy of hydrogen is similar, quite close to halogens. So hydrogen is considered as a non-metal like halogens. It has greater tendency to pair up the 1s1 electron and forms a covalent bond. It forms several compounds like methane, silane, germane, similar to those of compounds of halogens with the same elements like carbon tetrachloride, silicon tetrachloride, and germanium tetrachloride. So here we have a different similarity between halogens and hydrogen. How hydrogen differs from alkali metals as well as halogens, let us just put it together again. It is comparatively less electropositive. Hydrogen is less electropositive than alkali metals, as well as less electronegative than halogens. It contains only one proton but no neutron, and it is the only element in the periodic table with no neutron. Every other element in the periodic table has one or more neutrons. Nature of oxides of alkali metals, halogens, and hydrogen is quite different. For example, water is neutral, lithium sodium oxide, that is alkali metal oxides, are basic, and halogen oxides are acidic. Halogens are non-metals and non-metallic oxides are acidic. So hydrogen is also a non-metal, but its oxide is neutral. Size of H plus and H negative ions are much different in comparison to alkali metals and halogens respectively. Now, what would be the size of H plus and H negative ions? Lesser is not a generalized term. Let us see how we can apply this point. Size of H plus ion is 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 3 and H negative ion is 220 picometer. Now, H plus ion size is much, much smaller than average size of atoms, whereas H negative ion size is much larger than normal anions. Now, why is H plus ion size smaller? Because H plus is just a naked nucleus. It's just the nucleus, no electron and no other component. So just the nucleus with one proton has a very small size, 1.5 into 10 to the power minus 3 picometer, and H negative ion is 220 picometer, which is on the much larger size. H plus, due to its exceptionally small size, does not exist freely and is always associated with other atoms or molecules. So it is unique in its behavior. It is always present in solvated form, that is always associated with other molecules with which in which it is released. It basically combines with the solvent in which it is released. We call this process as solvation. For example, if H plus is released in water, it gets surrounded by water molecules like this, forming solvated ion. Like the various solvated ions it can form is, if it gets surrounded by one water, we write hydronium ion. If it is surrounded by two water molecules, it will be two water molecules means we have 5H, 2O with a positive charge. Two water molecules. It's like H plus surrounded by two water molecules. So we have a total of 4 and 1, 5 hydrogens, two oxygens, and one positive charge. Similarly, if it gets surrounded by three water molecules, it forms this ion. And the maximum that it can get surrounded by is 4 water molecules tetrahedrally, and that is going to lead to 9H4O with a positive charge. These are the species that exist in water as a solvent. Similarly, if it is released in ammonia, it will have a tendency to exist as ammonium ion. Also, comparing the difference between hydride ion size, the size of hydride ion, which is approximately like 208. Different sources quote a slightly different value, approximately this much. And iodide ion is larger than this, that is 219 picometer. And all other halide ions are smaller than it. All other halide ions have a smaller size, that is 136 pm. So hydride ion is quite a large sized ion. Why is it a large sized ion? Because hydrogen has one proton and one electron. Now, one proton, one electron, when it gains one more electron, now it gets one proton, to pull 2 electrons. So this pull becomes quite weak. Per electron, we just have a half protonic pull. The pull is very weak. As a result, the size becomes very large. So hydride ion is quite a large sized ion, but hydrogen ion, that is H plus ion, is quite a small sized ion. Now, dihydrogen occurrence and isotopes of hydrogen. Occurrence of dihydrogen is something that you have to learn. 70% of the total mass of universe consists of dihydrogen. Dihydrogen is the principal element in the solar atmosphere. Jupiter. Most of the part of Jupiter consists of hydrogen. Most of the part of Saturn consists of hydrogen. Dihydrogen is the third most abundant element on the Earth. So whether we're talking about in universe, Earth, air, atmosphere, when you learn abundances, be careful of this aspect. In combined form, it constitutes 15.4% of the Earth crust and the oceans. In combined form means one of the combined forms of hydrogen is water. Isotopes of hydrogen. What are isotopes? Elements having the same atomic number but different atomic masses. It has 3 isotopes: protium, deuterium, tritium. Configuration 1, S1. Its symbol is H11, means 1 proton, 1 electron, no neutron. Nature, protium is the ordinary hydrogen. Deuterium, either D12 or as H12 also we can write. 1 neutron, it is called heavy hydrogen. And tritium, configuration is 1, 3. We can write it as H13 or tritium T13. It has 2 neutrons and it is the radioactive form. Harold Urey got Nobel Prize in Chemistry in 1934 for the discovery of deuterium. Predominant form of hydrogen is protium. Dihydrogen contains 0.0156 of deuterium, mostly in the form of HD. Tritium concentration is about 1 atom per 10 to the power 18 atoms of protium. That means mainly hydrogen consists of protium. Only negligible amounts of deuterium and tritium are present. Tritium is very, very less abundant. Tritium is a radioactive isotope of hydrogen and has a half-life period of 12.33 years. That means if we have 1 gram of hydrogen today, after 12.33 years, only 0.5 gram will be left. Half-life period means the time in which an element reduces to half of its original amount, and it emits low energy beta particles. So this question, children, was there in this year's NEET, the 2021 NEET. Tritium emits low energy beta particles. This is the beta particle. Beta particle means charge -1 and mass 0. Beta particle can be written like this also. It is basically an electron of nuclear origin. This is beta particle. It can be written this way or this way. Important facts about isotopes. They have the same electronic configuration and hence similar chemical properties. Same configuration means same valence electrons. So the chemical properties are going to be similar, but different rates of reaction due to their different bond dissociation enthalpies. What is enthalpy of dissociation? In gaseous state, the energy needed to break 1 mole of the bond to give separated atoms is called enthalpy. It will also be the energy which is released when 1 mole of bonds are formed from separated atoms. Physical properties of these isotopes differ considerably due to their large mass differences. Half-life period of tritium is, so just checking, give a thought to the answer. We just discussed this. So the answer is 12.33 years. Tritium is a radioactive isotope, has a half-life period of this, and it emits low energy beta particles. This is an important point. Physical properties of hydrogen. Relative abundance. What is relative abundance? It measures how relatively common or rare the element is from others. So for protium, that is the ordinary hydrogen, it is 99.985%. For deuterium, 0.0156, and for tritium, it is 10 to the minus 16. And all this is covered in the NCERT table. In the NCERT textbook, a table describes all these properties, which is important. So we can conclude hydrogen is the most abundant element and tritium is the least. So also children, the average atomic mass of hydrogen is equal to 1.008 U. So how do we get that average atomic mass? Protium into 99.985 plus deuterium mass into 0.0156. We are basically calculating the average. Plus tritium mass is 3. 3 into 10 to the power minus 16 is its abundance. So all this we divide with 100. So when you calculate it as 1.008 U. So the average atomic mass comes closer to the mass of hydrogen, shows that it is highly abundant in nature. Now, physical properties of hydrogen, relative atomic mass. Relative atomic mass is a ratio of average mass of an element to 1/12 of the mass of carbon-12. So for hydrogen, it is 1.008 U, or it is 1.008 gram per mole. For deuterium, 2.014, and tritium is 3.016. Melting point for, what is melting point? Temperature at which one substance changes its state from solid to liquid at atmospheric pressure. So for hydrogen, it is 13.96, for deuterium, 18.73, and for tritium, 20.62. Now, here I would also like to comment on a property, children, which is called as isotopic effect. According to isotopic effect, the heavier isotope has a higher value of a physical constant. Heavier isotope of an element has a higher value of a physical constant. Right? So we are going to observe this property in all the properties ahead. For example, in hydrogen, the melting point is 13.96. The heavier isotope deuterium has a higher melting point and tritium has a still higher melting point. Boiling point. What is boiling point? It is a temperature at which vapor pressure of the liquid is equal to the atmospheric pressure. So for hydrogen, boiling point is 20.39, deuterium 23.67, and tritium 25. Again, you can see the heavier isotope has a higher boiling point. Density, the same thing we can observe. Density is the mass per unit volume. For hydrogen, it is 0.09, deuterium 0.18, and tritium 0.27. Heavier isotopes are having a higher value of every physical property. Enthalpy of fusion. Enthalpy of fusion consists of internal energy of the system plus the product of pressure and volume of the system. So this is the definition for enthalpy. Details of this we study in the thermodynamics chapter. Enthalpy of fusion is a change in enthalpy resulting from heating a given quantity of a substance to change its state from solid to liquid. So enthalpy of fusion for hydrogen is 0.117, deuterium is higher, 0.197, and tritium is not measured because it's radioactive. So data related to tritium is less available. Enthalpy of vaporization. Enthalpy of vaporization is the enthalpy change required to transform a given quantity of a substance from liquid into gas at a given pressure. Enthalpy of vaporization of hydrogen, deuterium, and tritium again quoted. You can see deuterium is higher than hydrogen. All kinds of forces are higher for a heavier isotope. Enthalpy of bond dissociation is the energy needed to break 1 mole of bond to give separated atoms in gaseous state. So again, we can see the enthalpy of dissociation of deuterium is higher than hydrogen, which means a DD bond is stronger than HH bond. A DD bond is stronger than HH bond. So more energy is required to break a DD bond than HH bond. And this property is made use of in studying mechanisms of many reactions. Internuclear bond length. What is internuclear distance? Distance between two nuclei in a molecule, basically distance between two bonded atoms in a molecule. So for hydrogen, it is 74.14 and deuterium is also 74.14. Tritium also the same. The internuclear bond length is identical in all three. Ionization enthalpy. Minimum amount of energy required to remove an electron from the atom in the gaseous state. So for hydrogen, it is 1312. Electron gain enthalpy. Amount of energy released when an electron is added to the outermost shell of an isolated gaseous atom. Minus 73 is the electron gain enthalpy for hydrogen. Covalent radius. Half of the distance between centers of two nuclei of two covalently bonded atoms. This is 37. Ionic radius for H plus. Radius of an ion of a chemical species. For hydrogen, it is 35 picometer. For H plus, basically. This is atomic radius of hydrogen, that is 35 picometer, or this can be 37 picometer. NCERT quotes it as 37 picometer. And I told you source to source, this much variation can always be observed. Ionic radius of hydride ion is 208 pm. The deuterium and tritium data is not available. Now we come to the next topic, that is types of hydrides. Dihydrogen plus all elements except noble gases. The compound that is formed is called as hydride. Hydride, it can have formula EHX or EMHN. So under hydrides, we have these categories: ionic or salt-like or saline hydrides. We have covalent or molecular hydrides, and we have metallic or non-stoichiometric hydrides. Three categories of hydrides. What are hydrides? These are compounds of various elements with hydrogen. The first category is ionic or saline hydrides. These hydrides are formed with most of the S block elements. S block elements except lithium, beryllium, magnesium, which are highly electropositive in character. Ionic hydrides are formed with most of the S block elements, which are highly electropositive in character, since lithium, beryllium, magnesium are the smallest sized S block elements. So these are an exception to this. Lighter metal hydrides such as lithium hydride, beryllium hydride, and magnesium hydride are covalent in nature. And beryllium hydride and magnesium hydride are also polymeric. Physical properties: ionic hydrides are crystalline. Crystalline because ionic bonds are strong and they are always arranged in a well-defined arrangement. So ionic hydrides are crystalline. Non-volatile, again non-volatile because ionic linkages are strong linkages. Non-conducting in solid state, these are the properties, these are same properties as observed in all ionic compounds. But in molten state, since in melted form, molten state, the ionic bonds break to free the ions, they conduct electricity. So for example, if I have a sodium hydride lattice this way, so if it's the crystalline lattice of sodium hydride, when this is melted on heating, it separates into sodium and hydride ions. Free ions are available which can conduct electricity. So in solid state, non-conducting because the ionic forces are strong forces. Ionic forces are very strong. So there are no free ions, neither free electrons to conduct electricity. Chemical properties on electrolysis, they liberate dihydrogen gas at anode. Since hydride ion is a negative ion, it gets attracted towards the positive electrode, that is anode, and undergoes oxidation, that is loss of electrons. Saline hydrides also react violently with water, producing dihydrogen gas because hydrogen, this hydride ion, it traps, it pulls H plus from water. This hydride ion will pull H plus from water. This will pull H plus from water, leaving behind OH negative. So we get sodium hydroxide, and H negative and H positive are going to combine to form hydrogen gas. So these react violently with water, producing dihydrogen gas. Lithium hydride is used in the synthesis of useful hydrides because it is unreactive at moderate temperatures according to the equation. Similarly, lithium hydride reacts with aluminium chloride or with diborane to give these products. We come to covalent hydrides. Covalent or molecular hydrides are formed with most of the p block elements. Ionic hydrides were formed with s block. These are formed with p block elements. For example, methane, ammonia, water, HF, etc. Or these are covalent or molecular hydrides. Now, why are they called molecular? Because actually, each molecule is made up of these covalent bonds, and different molecules of the same substance. Different molecules of the same substance are held together by some weak intermolecular forces. So if you have in a cylinder, you have a sample of methane, each molecule is made up of covalent bonds, and there are weak intermolecular forces existing between different molecules. So these are called as molecular hydrides because they exist as molecules and they are formed by covalent bonds, hence covalent hydrides. Physical properties, they are covalent compounds. They are volatile in nature. Why volatile? Volatile means, children, try and understand. Volatile means if supposing I have in a container, I have a sample of water which exists as molecule. Each molecule is having covalent bonds. Each molecule is made up of covalent bonds, and between two molecules, there are intermolecular forces, hydrogen bonds. Two molecules are going to have hydrogen bonds holding them. Okay. So since these hydrogen bonds are weaker, these hydrogen bonds are weaker than ionic bonds or covalent bonds. So these are going to be more volatile in comparison to salt-like or saline hydrides. So these are covalent compounds. They're volatile in nature. Why? Because the intermolecular forces holding two molecules together are weaker than ionic. So it is easy to convert water from liquid to vapor state. And that is why these are more volatile in nature. Classification of covalent hydrides. These are classified as electron deficient hydrides, electron precise, that means just the right number of electrons, and electron rich. So electron deficient, as the name tells us, have less than the octet. Electron precise have a completed octet, all used electrons, and electron rich means some unused lone pairs as well as some bonded pairs. So electron deficient hydrides, on the basis of number of electrons and bonds in the Lewis structures, we classify molecular hydrides into these three categories. Under electron deficient, these do not have sufficient number of electrons to form normal covalent bonds, so can exist in polymeric forms. Group 13 elements, that is boron, aluminium, form this kind of hydrides. So examples, diborane, B2H6, then we have tetraborane, we have aluminium hydride polymeric. These are the examples of electron deficient hydrides. And since they are electron deficient, they act as acceptor of electrons. Electron deficient hydrides act as acceptor of electrons and hence called as Lewis acids. Lewis acids are electron acceptors which have incomplete octets. Electron pair acceptors are called Lewis acids. So these electron deficient compounds want to complete their octet, can receive electrons, so they behave like Lewis acids. So here I can just comment on structures of one of the hydrides. For example, if we talk of the structure of diborane, for drawing the structure of diborane, I write on the configuration of boron 1s2, 2s2, 2p1. So in ground state, if I write the excited state of boron, we get it as this electron jumping here, and we get the configuration as 2s1, 2p2. All these hybridizing, so boron has 1, 2,